We're about to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful techniques in all of modern marketing. But to really get it, we're not starting in some fancy boardroom. Nope, we're starting in the world of espionage. So what if the most powerful marketing technique in the world actually came from the CIA? I know, it sounds a little out there, right? But this isn't some hypothetical question. A technique the CIA literally designed to get classified information is the exact same one being used to make us buy things. And the crazy part is, we often don't even feel like we've been sold to. So what is this secret? Well, the official name is elicitation. But honestly, a much better way to think about it is conversation engineering. Now, elicitation isn't about firing off direct questions or putting on the pressure. Not at all. It's a subtle art, originally used by intelligence agencies to create an environment where a target actually wants to share information, all while being totally convinced it was their own idea. Think about that for a second. The goal isn't just to get info, it's to make the other person feel like they're in complete control of the whole exchange. It's about making them feel so understood and so validated that they're ultimately eager to just volunteer everything you need to know. And this quote just nails the endgame. When elicitation is done perfectly, it's completely invisible. The person walks away feeling like they just had a great chat, never ever realizing the strategic architecture that was built around them. Okay, so the big question. How on earth does a classified spy technique make the jump from the world of espionage into sales and marketing? Well, the whole thing hinges on a shift in intent. The core mechanics are pretty much the same, but the goal changes completely. Instead of trying to get state secrets, marketers use elicitation to find a customer's emotional truth, their deepest values, fears, and hopes. The whole point is to make buying feel like a totally natural decision, not a reaction to some sales pitch. Nike is an absolute masterclass in this. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a Nike ad talk about air cushioning or arch support? Almost never. Instead, they tell stories. They don't sell you features, they sell you an identity. The identity of an athlete, a fighter, someone who just doesn't quit. They create the narrative, and our brains happily connect the dots. This quote really gets to the heart of it. The best marketing doesn't try to force a decision on you. It creates a world, a story, an emotion, and then lets you, the customer, arrive at the conclusion all on your own. It's like a guided discovery. Now, this entire system hinges on one critical element: trust. Without it, the whole thing falls apart. So how do brands use these principles to build such powerful, unbreakable bonds with their customers? This isn't some new idea. It's rooted in methods like the Scharf technique, which was pioneered by a German interrogator in World War II who had incredible success without ever using force. His core principles were simple: be friendly, never push for information, and, this is the really clever part, create the illusion that you already know most of the story. This prompts people to want to fill in the blanks for you. It's all about making people feel safe and heard, so they just naturally open up. And the absolute fastest way to build that connection is through storytelling. Stories are basically little elicitation engines. When you hear a compelling story, your brain doesn't just process facts. It actually releases oxytocin, which is the hormone associated with bonding and trust. It's basically a biological hack to create an emotional link. And the results are just staggering. We remember information that's embedded in a story up to 22 times more effectively than we remember plain old facts. A brand can list its features all day long, but one good story, that'll stick with you for years. And ultimately, this is why it all works. When a brand's story lines up with your own values and your own identity, you stop seeing it as just a company. You start seeing it as a reflection of who you are, or maybe who you want to be. And buying from them starts to feel like belonging. Okay, so we get the big picture strategy. Build trust through stories. Now let's get tactical. Let's look at the specific psychological triggers that marketers use to turn all that trust into actual action. All right, let's break down 5 of the most powerful ones. First, you've got scarcity and FOMO, the fear of missing out. That only 2 left in stock message, that flips a switch in your brain from,
do I want this? To, oh no, I can't risk losing this. Second, social proof. This taps right into our tribal nature. Seeing bestseller or hundreds of 5-star reviews makes us feel like it's a safe, pre-approved choice. Third, the halo effect. This is all about first impressions. If we love Apple's sleek design, we're automatically primed to believe their software must be perfect too. Fourth is identity validation. That's the Nike effect we talked about. It connects the product to our ideal self. And finally, number 5, curiosity gaps. This is when marketers intentionally leave out a piece of the story, with headlines like, "The one mistake everyone makes." Our brains hate an open loop and just have to click to find out the answer. And this is exactly why these triggers are so effective. They don't feel like a hard sell. They tap into our fundamental human psychology. When a brand uses them well, you don't feel like you're being persuaded. You just feel like the brand, well, like they just get you.
So now we absolutely have to address the elephant in the room. These techniques are incredibly powerful. So where do we draw the line between ethical influence and, well, outright manipulation?
And this is probably the most important question of all. The ability to influence someone is not a license to exploit them. So how can we tell the difference?
The difference really just boils down to intent and transparency. Is the goal to genuinely serve a customer's needs, or is it to exploit their psychological triggers just to make a quick buck? Ethical influence is built on respect and honesty, and it creates long-term trust. Manipulation, on the other hand, uses deception and it destroys that trust forever. So here's a simple ethical framework you can use. Just ask yourself 3 questions. 1, can you defend your tactics publicly? 2, would you use them on someone you love? And 3, does your product truly serve the customer? If the answer to all 3 is a confident yes, then you're probably on the right side of the line. Because at the end of the day, authenticity is the only currency that really matters. And we'll just end on this thought. Elicitation is a tool. In the wrong hands, yeah, it can be used to manipulate. But when it's used with integrity, with a genuine desire to understand and to serve, it becomes a form of leadership. It's about connecting with people so deeply that what you offer isn't just a product, but a solution they were already looking for. The real question is, which will you choose to be?